Hey everyone, this is Sunny Kumar Bharti, member of Saranda House, and your host for tonight. Tonight, we are here for a wonderful group discussion organized by Saranda House and SYNAPSE Society on this wonderful topic. And the topic being, has the idea of modernity been westernized beyond repair? I hope you guys have prepared and excited for this one. Okay, moving ahead with the rules for tonight. Participants must raise their hand if they wish to speak. The discussion will be conducted entirely in English. Speaking time for round one, each speaker will have 3 minutes to present their viewpoints in the first round. In round two, after all participants have spoken once, a second round where speakers will get 2 minutes for follow up remarks. Only one person should speak at a time. Don't interrupt in between. All comments should remain relevant to the discussion topic, and no personal attacks will be tolerated. Every participant should get a fair chance to contribute, and so avoid dominating the discussion. Support your points with facts, examples, or logical reasoning whenever possible. Host instructions on time limits, order of speakers, and conduct will be final. Please remember this is a GD and not a debate. So let's begin.
Hey everyone, raise your hands. Who's gonna start the discussion today? Okay, Nitish, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. May I audible? Hello, I am audible.
Yeah, you are
Yes, you're
on.
audible.
Sure. May I turn off my camera? Is it allowed or not?
You want to
You
turn off?
can, you
May I
can.
turn
There's no
off the
restriction.
camera?
Okay.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. This is Nitesh, and before entering the whole the sentence, I look two words. First of all, the modernity, and second is westernized. So first of all, we have to take a view what are we called modernity. Generally we think in modernity like what we wear, what we eat, and mainly sometimes people says today's is modernity is wait. So we have to really think about what exactly the modernity. It's not about only the wearing the similar clothes and eating the same kind of foods. And the second word is the westernized. It is the modernity is influenced by Western countries. Is it? Uh, can you give me a minute if you don't mind?
And no worry, Nitish. Take your time.
Yeah, sorry for that.
We'll take your turn again. We can proceed with you just Shini, if I'm pronouncing correct, and then we'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay? Okay.
Okay.
Is it
Yes,
me?
Nish. Yeah, it's you.
Okay, I'm Yajneshni. So, is it fine if I don't switch on my camera?
Yeah, completely fine.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, in my perspective, the idea of modernity is not westernized beyond repair. Yes, I agree that it has been westernized, but it is not beyond repair because even now we can see a lot of Indian festivals and people wearing Indian traditional dresses and all. And even in Western countries, we see that there are many people who follow Indian culture and the diaspora. They don't let go of their culture even after migrating to a Western country like US, Canada, Germany, etc. And even in the Gen Z or the younger generations, they tend to follow our culture in spite of being westernized. So, in spite of being westernized, it is not beyond repair, as I said earlier. And there are a lot of cultural activities, and people start selling the daily utilities and all with cultural paintings in them. This is just one example, and this can be seen in Jammu and Kashmir, Rajasthan, Kerala, etc. And in our day to day life also, we follow a lot of traditional practices. For example, we yes, we follow Western medicine, but there is a very wider scope for traditional medicine also. That is one such example. And even the government, they themselves are supporting the traditional way or the cultural way of our own lifestyle. And we have a lot of ministries, like we have Ministry of Culture, we have Ayush, and they are also promoting the traditional way of living. And in some way or the other, through all these aspects, as I told now, we have this traditional aspect being preserved, and it will continue to the next generation through our practices, and it is not beyond repair. The term beyond repair, it is significant if there is no scope for cultural revival at all, and that can never happen in a society like India, because we have faced a lot of invasions, we have faced a lot of cultural threats and cultural crisis. But still, at some point of time, there were some eminent people or pioneers who were able to revive the cultural heritage and legacy, and this is how Indian history has survived till date. So I feel that Indian modernity has been westernized, but it is not beyond repair, as it is there are a lot of scope to revive culture back. And more than being westernized completely, our culture, it is a mixture of both traditional way and westernized way. For example,
Okay,
we don't
that's
wear.
3 minutes. Time up.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
let's give somebody else. Please
You
raise your
will get
hand
a.
if you want to speak.
We will again get to talk. Just cycle will go on. Okay.
Yeah, anybody else who wants to speak, please raise your hands. Okay, on this topic, a famous quote of Mahatma Gandhi that I am remembering: Western civilization is a 9 days wonder. The tendency of Indian civilization is to elevate the moral being. That of a Western civilization is to propagate immorality. Anybody? Yes, Sabal.
So, can you please repeat the statement which you said? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Sabal, you are audible.
Yeah, yeah. So, you
Sunny, can
said,
you repeat whatever you said?
yes, yes.
What quote? Hello, Sunny.
Yes.
Sunny, you are not audible enough.
Okay, wait. Ayush, if you want to go next.
Hello, Saval, you are going to say something, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to confirm that line. So he said, Mahatma Gandhi said that Western civilization is immoral, whereas the Indian civilization is such that it is there to alleviate the moral being. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So, like, I agree with him. Like, if you see our philosophy, okay, our philosophy, it is it put emphasis on non-violence. It put emphasis on unity and diversity. It put emphasis on uh, equality, not just equality of all, but oneness of all. The whole point of non-dual philosophy in the Indian culture is that the whole world is one. Okay, so yeah, that is true, but according to many Indian scholars also, it is also true that that all these ideas are the higher ideas. If we are not, these are higher ideas, so they are applicable for the high. When we are physically not that much capable, for example, yes, it's indeed correct that philosophically these ideas are correct, but instead of but if you do not have your army, anyone will come to your nation, they will colonize you, then what will you do with those ideas? So in that sense, ignoring the West is not at all a great idea, because a lot of our technology is something which comes from the West. A lot of our industry is something which comes from West. So basically, a lot of what we call power comes from the West. When we have power, then we can absolutely protect all these high ideals. Despite, and if we are not having any power, then we cannot protect those high ideals. That's what I wanted to say for that. And it is actually a problem which Indian civilization has faced time and again. Just not Britishers, Huns came, Sakas came, Turks came. All of them, they were not. They literally were actually. If you compare their philosophy to ours, it is literally nothing. But still, they were able to dominate us. Why? Because the very foundation things we were lacking. So we cannot lack foundations and talk about the pinnacle. Pinnacle is pinnacle, but foundations are also necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Saban. So next we have Sarthak.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
So, firstly, I would like to reiterate some points Sabal made. Sabal made a statement that a lot comes from the West, which we say in terms of technology or in terms of power. But I would like to ask just a question. What do you define power in terms of? Is it the scale that actually defines what power is, or is it the scale that has also been westernized in the same manner which modernity is? Because there is something like the West are powerful, the West are technologically more advanced. But I just remember, just for an example, if I give you, I just remember a case where a German company or something made a eco-friendly plate, and what they made, a plate of leaves, which was there thousands of years ago in our culture. So saying something like they are technologically more advanced or something, and then someone made a point about the invasions. If we read history properly, there was nothing like that. We were not weak, that we were not strong enough. There are conspiracies, or there are something like what we call a traitor or something else. In If we go deep down through that path, there is nothing like that. We were weak enough, we were weak, so we were being ruled. Then the main idea, that has the idea of modernity been westernized beyond repair? Absolutely. Because the thing is that if I go on road and ask any random person about what modernization or what modernity is, it's a simple answer, something that is not truly Indian, or something that has been like the West, a sophisticated house, individual life, or something like that. We have been If I have to say, we have been living in a society, we have been living in some place where we live in society, we live together in communities, we work in communities, and we live where people are not just individuals, they are part of something greater. But now if I move out, there is a lot different scenario in terms of mindset, that people are just being individual, like I'm being alone, I will work for myself and all that. Then after that, if I took up some studies, like study in terms of today what curriculum we have or whatever we have in terms of study. In old times we used to even have scriptures in our studies, but currently it is said that scriptures are not good, or what we say, that they are obsolete or they are not useful enough. Something what the West has given us, West just pushes towards like on the line, because just you have to get education, work, earn money for yourself, and this and that. So what I think is, the idea of modernity has been westernized to a lot more, and it's now beyond repair. Thank you.
Anybody else who wants to continue?
Can I respond to the counter?
Wait.
Wait,
Let
Sabal,
Alex.
there's a new speaker here. We can go on first with him. It's Aman Kumar. Okay.
Hello, am I audible?
Okay. Yes, Aman, you can go on.
I agree on the point that the idea of modernity has been westernized. Today, if someone drinks, parties, or lives in a flashy lifestyle, people call them modern. But it is not modernity at all. Just following trend, it is not modernity. The real modernity is about how you think, uh, what you are contributing to the technology and how you are treating people. Like you in modernity, people say to respect every people, not in the not with the respect of like any religion or caste. But today people thinks that uh, the the Western habits are the modernity. But the modernity is not about how you party, it is more about how you think.
Okay, I think Aman, you are done, right?
Yeah,
So, okay, so let's continue with Yajni, Yajni Sini. Can you just pronounce your name first? Uh,
Yeah, my name is Yajneshni.
okay, Yajni Sini.
Yeah. Can I start?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay. So I would like to, my points might refute the points given by previous speakers, but still I am again sticking to the idea that modernity has been westernized, but not beyond repair. Because I would like to give some points for the same points which they gave. For example, for defense, yes, I agree that without modern technologies in defense, we cannot defend our country and protect our security and sovereignty. But still, in defense also, we have traditional aspects included in defense also. For example, we have the Indian naval ships and all named in Indian names, and we have the insignia of Shivaji in Navy, and we have named certain bases with the names of Cholas. And these are some examples how we follow our tradition and culture in defense, in spite of being westernized as well. See, in Indian context, modernity is not like completely getting detached from our traditional and cultural values. It is like intermingling the necessary elements of westernity along with Indian traditions. Like we have, this is the norm of nature and this is the norm of time. We have to get adapted to time and include which are all necessary for the present day, and we have to leave all the things which are not suitable for our society. And Indian society has been doing this time and again, and that is one such example in defense, because one of my previous speaker had quoted about defense also. So I would like to give this example. And even yes, I agree that we have started shifting to nuclear families, but still for festivals and for some occasions we gather with our relatives and celebrate very grand festivals in India that cannot be seen very often in western countries. In each and every month we have a lot of festivals in India. That is a traditional value which it is peculiar to Indian society. And we even follow buffet system in our festivals and functions, but still in that buffet system, which is a western model, we use this banana leaf. I'm not sure if it is done throughout India, but in southern part of India we have this banana leaf on top of the plate, and food will be served on top of that banana leaf only. So we have intermingled westernity with traditional values in India, and that itself is a testimony to prove that modernity in India is westernized, but it is not beyond repair, and our culture, it is still prevailing in Indian society in its fullest form, and we have adapted to the time and the necessities of time. So with that, I am concluding this chance of my speech, and I'll continue later.
Okay, thank you, Yajnishini. Nitish,
Yeah. Thank you for giving me a second chance, and sorry for my lagginess previous time. Mm. So let's start with the modern. In my understanding, what is the modernity is how we live wisely. We are a animal, and it has not been a long time from we came from the jungles. So in our if we look at our culture as an Indian, in the ancient times, there are a lot of philosophers come there, and it teach us that how to live as a different being, as a human being, as a conscious being, wisely. So if any person change their lifestyle as the according to the present conditions, like for example, today the major problem is the climate change. So if a person is a change their lifestyle accordingly, and then I can say he is a modern, because he is now start living wisely. And if you say that idea of modernity has been westernized. If we talk about India, India now, if you really consider modernity as term of technology, just what we have in our hands in the phone data and our social media. So yeah, we can say that India is going there modernity in after the influence of westernizer. But in whole the current, it is not only pointer. If we look at the western countries, their civic sense, they're outstanding. If you look their rivers, their air qualities, they're outstanding from India. If we really say modernity or idea of modernity being westernized, so we should also consider that points. don't just say that if just my dress code is the same similar like the Western countries, my attires, my food. So it's not just a modernity in my terms. So yeah, India's modernity has westernized in a very small amount in the term of the technology, and also second thing, the person of Western countries, they respect their scientists. Their PhD scholars are respected by their citizens, but not in India. I'm not blaming just India, but what are the whole crunch of the countries? And right now, I'm telling just. So yeah, I can say idea of modernity in India is getting westernized, but in a very small amount, not a whole thing. If I appreciate if India modernized by Western countries in the term of their civic sense, their climate change issues, and their mm, and yeah, I think that's it. If thank you.
Thank you, Nitish. Yes, Sabal.
Yes, so I was countering the statement which Mahatma Gandhi said that West West has material philosophy leading to immoral nature of human being, and our East, which is our India, not India, our whole the East has more emphasis on the moral part. Okay, so I was countering that part, and I was trying to tell. I was trying to present that how it can get into a dangerous territory. Okay, so that was the thing. Okay, and yes, so the whole point is that whatever is great, if it is coming from China, it is coming from Japan, it is coming from Australia, it is coming from Africa, it is coming from Europe, it has to be respected and it has to be followed, because that is what is actually development. And it is also what our inclusive philosophy of India also teaches us. The meaning of dharma is the meaning of dharma is the one which can be, जिसको हम धारण कर सकते हैं, the thing is which is worthy of being adopted. So in real sense, the meaning of following the dharma is to adopt what is to be adopted, what is great, what is auspicious for us. That is our Indian philosophy also. Regarding weapons, I want to say that yes, we are indeed just like any other civilization. We have survived. We are very much old. We had Indus Valley civilization, we had modern empire, and many great things, which included military also. We have our own military expeditions. Cholas were very mighty. They were conquering the southeastern parts and all. It is totally correct. But it is also correct that the modern technology like missiles, tanks, aircrafts, nuclear weapons, all of these are developed in the West. So just like what I said, what I want to say, we are adapting those technologies. So there is nothing wrong in adapting those technologies, and it is also a part of that modernity. So that I want to put forth. Yeah.
Thank you, Sabal. Yes, Sarthak.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So firstly, I would like to make a point about first, if I would try myself to dissect this topic, has the idea of modernity been westernized beyond repair? So firstly, if I would think about the need, actually about modernity, there is something modern. Is modernity needed or not? First of all, I would like to take, if seems off topic, but just for the sake of discussion, firstly, there are is this topic is in two steps. First step is modernity is always right. There is something that modernity is a requirement that is particularly needed. Modernity is irreplaceable. Secondly, only the West is right. This is the scenario that's been working on behind it. First, it is not always necessary that modernity is important. Secondly, if modernity is even important, or if it's right, it's not always that West is only right. Like Nitish made some points about the outstanding AQI and civic sense of the West, so I would like to iterate, if a research is made, a thorough research, not just like seeing up some videos from Instagram or social media coming up onto your screen that wow, West is so much of good AQI, so much of good civic sense, there is no waste in there, waste management, recycling, etc. See beyond that. This is the thing that directly proves that the idea of modernity has been westernized, because people of our country don't know anything about it. They just know that West is always right, and they are just trying to appease or sort of say just glorify the West. In America, people generally compare America for standards, that America is the best, America has great standards. But if deep down they also have problems, they also have natural calamitic problems, they also have a bad civic sense. If we go for the metro network of America, it's actually bad. It's not that much good as we expect. Some videos of some clear streets and people are just saying, "Low, whoa, wow, what's America? India should be one of them. India is far more behind them." It's not always like that. You haven't seen the full picture until and unless you have been there. Secondly, uh, about festivals, there was a mention of festivals. So I would like to say about festivals that in modern terms, festivals are a subject of discussion where the same firecrackers are bad for air and are bad in terms of culture when it comes for Diwali, but the same firecrackers are very good or okay when it comes to New Year or Christmas. West criticizes the same firecrackers for Diwali but accepts the same firecrackers for Christmas. That's something which directly should, and there are Indians, a lot and lot of Indians who come up and just come up and say that, oh, our AQI is shutting down and these Indians see them, they are just busy cracking fires. But at the same time, they are not criticizing the West. It's their festival, it's their choice. Okay. And even if this not shows, then if I would think about the scale, in terms of how much good a country is doing or how well a country is, people generally took what the scale is from the West is doing that much, why isn't our country doing this much? Why is it there that always the scale sets a West as the best and India on it at a position lower than
Okay,
in
that's 3 minutes, Arthur.
okay.
Oh, very good points kept. So next we have Ayush Day.
Okay, hello everyone. As the title suggests, the idea of modernity beyond westernized, beyond repair. So everyone was talking about India, and I am living in Tokyo for 6 months. So I thought I would say something about from my point of view about Western culture here. So everyone is talking about how India is adjusting to Western technologies, but if you look at Tokyo, the capital of Japan, it's not just India. Japan is also already one of the most technologically, I think, advanced countries in the world. Yet, Western cultures influences in everywhere, in the business districts like Shinjuku and another halls, global offices, everyone try to wear Western style suits, corporate routines and all. And also places like Shibuya and Harajuku, you saw young people follow Western fashion and trends, line up for the what you call American style cafes and all. Even to begin with, Japanese people doesn't used to celebrate Christmas and Valentine's Day. I just see from my first hand, it's Christmas, Valentine's, Halloween is becoming a huge part of their culture. So definitely even though everyone is talking about how India accepting technologies from Western countries and so that they are trying to adapt their cultures, but I think also Japan is also technologically sufficient. But here you can also see the influence of Western technology. So even a country that is technologically self-sufficient, it still absorb Western cultures, not just through technology, but through lifestyles, fashion, and social habits. Okay, that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Ayush. Next, Yajnishini.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. So, since the discussion also mentioned how we are legitimizing the influence of Western countries, and we are praising their culture as superior and our culture as inferior to them, I would like to give an overview about the history of how Western culture had actually become a legacy, and how our culture is going to the back end. So, in the historical era, if we see, uh, we had these colonizations, imperialism, and all, and even the countries which have very good technology, very good climate resilience, and all, even they had a lot of issues in their own country. For example, we have seen how air quality is very worse in Delhi nowadays, and the issue of smog is going on. And we can just relate this to some incident which was categorized as London smog. So this has shown that there can never be a worsened situation than the climate crisis which was faced by London at that time. So now they are advanced because we had the drain of wealth theory and all, and their technology has been advanced because of colonization and imperialism, and we had actually contributed to their technology, and that is why they are advanced now. It is not because they are westernized, they are well civilized, and they are not like that. It is not the case. And we have to understand this perspective, and why US has become a legacy, and why we have this utopian dream and all. After the Second World War, we had this Cold War between Soviet and US, and all the other European countries were literally bankrupt, and it was only US which was able to sustain the economic crisis, and they were funding other countries for in this matter. So again, from the loan, from their market for defense and all, they were able to grow more. It is not because of their civilization, but because of their
Uh,
strategy.
okay,
Hello.
Yajnishini, thank you.
I have 45 seconds more.
2 minutes, you have already utilized 3 minutes
Oh, it
before.
is 2 minutes. Okay, okay.
Next, we have Nitish.
So, as the Sarthak says, Sarthak, my point was not to impose the westernized culture overall. I was saying in my thinking, what I think about modernity is about how you wisely live. So if I take something from the West countries, which is good, comparatively is better than India's, then it's not bad to take some ideas from their side. And second point, Sarthak said that in the Western countries, Western people says cracker are bad for Indian in Diwalis, but they justifies for their Christmas functions. I'm saying, Sarthak, if your current situation is worse than their countries, you have in Delhi the IQ is more than 500, 600, and Diwali is I think it's crossed thousands. So in this case, I'm not against the crackers, firecrackers. I'm saying if the condition is worse, then it's justified to use and celebrate in this form the uh, uh, unnecessary the crackers. So I'm also they are not justified. They are overall their countries. They maintain their IQ levels, their air quality. Then they celebrate, and I'm not justifies their these persons, those persons doing the correct, and if Indians are doing is wrong. No, see the current scenario, what is happening in our country. So and and people know everything in Delhi. Everyone knows the what is the condition of the air quality. Then why the people are using the crackers in the festivals? They can't understand if they use. Of course, they're not changed significantly, but there's a sense of responsibility comes arise from their sides. So it's also a considerable point of why they say, and that's it for now.
Thank you, Nitish. So, who's gonna come next? Yes, Saval.
Yes. So, completely agreed with what Nitish said. Uh, that the comparison with the West in terms of that cracker thing, completely agreed, and also completely agreed with one of the other contestants' point, that there is a notion in our heads that West is always good, India is not, and it is inherently a bias which we should deal with. Like there is a there we have to agree that there is a bias. For example, whatever, if we hear an English song, that English song, that Hollywood song is literally about just about a girl who is just just having no meaning, but still, because it's an English song, we are liking it. So there are that sorts of biases in us. So that has to be taken care of with. And also, like, I want to say about the another part. That another part is that the from where does this whole idea of modernization comes from? This whole idea of modernization in large parts come from the Renaissance movement of the Europe. The Renaissance movement of the Europe sought rational thinking. It sought separation of separation of power from separation of the church and the royalty. It sought for democracy. It sought for individualism. So many of these ideas are coming from West. So, like, for instance, let's see feminism. When we say feminism, these are ideas which are based in Renaissance. So when we are discussing them in Indian context, it actually, in one sense or another sense, gets back traced back to the to the Renaissance
Sabal,
time. So yeah.
thank you, Sabal. Yajnishini.
Yeah, so I would like to add some points. So I feel that I agree with the Renaissance and how the idea of Westernization and all came. But when it comes to philosophy, that to Indian philosophy, we still have traces of all the so-called Western philosophies in our traditional values itself. But the only thing is, because of colonization, we are not able to understand that we ourselves had followed a lot of cultural values in our tradition even before colonizers came, and they said that it is the white man's burden to civilize us. But our tradition itself had followed a lot of values even before they came to India. For example, we have feminism. We have feminism not just because of the colonizers, but it was there in our culture itself. For example, in Sanskrit, we have a lot of female poets, and like Karki Vachiknavi, Maitreyi, Katyayini, Lobamutra, and all. And even in other regional literature, for example, we have Akama Devi, we have Andal, and a lot of those female writers were known all over India. And when it comes to democracy and when it comes to people's rule and all, we had a lot of Jana Sanghas. And even before they came to India, our own culture itself had a lot of forward thinking ideologies, but the thing is, we don't identify them in present scenario. And that is how we are westernized, because we forget our own roots and we glorify their past. And now the scenario is changing, and people have started reading about how our culture itself was very high, and that itself proves that westernization and modernity, it is there, it is westernized, but it is not beyond repair.
Thank you, Yajnishini. Next, we have Sarthak.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Firstly, I would like to say Nitish made a point that taking right from the West, that whatever they are giving, but if it's right and if it's followable, one should follow. Okay, I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying that we have to reject West fully, but there is a difference between accepting the right from the West and accepting everything from the West. The problem is not accepting right from the West. The problem is accepting everything from the West. Currently, if I give you an example of the Indian taxation system, which had been a subject of question since a long time, where they have been saying that India takes a lot of taxation as compared to other countries in the West, but their quality is far more inferior in terms. as compared to the West, but people forget one two small factors about which. The first factor is the population of the countries, and second factor is they are actually getting a lot more in such a high population density. And comparing about the AQIs, if I ask you to compare the population densities and the people living around there in Delhi and as compared to any place in America, what will be the answer? This also gets a subject that AQI is not just because of that. One second. I have to drink water. 1 second. Yes. Yeah. So I was say on the fact that there is not absolutely taking up everything from the West is correct, but taking up right, it's actually not a problem. And there are a lot and lot of examples I have which I can give where where modernity has been westernized and it has been deep down rooted into the Indian culture, which is actually harming us. And this the very basic idea, where does this come from? In our history textbooks, when we were young, we were given in the history textbooks that the when English colonized us, not just colonized us, but they also gave us very good reforms. That's the first seed where we are being taught about the West being the best and we being inferior.
That's 2 minutes, Sarthak.
Okay.
Uh, thank you. Next, we have Aman.
From my perspective, the culture is not in danger due to modernity because our roots are strong enough to be preserved. Uh, n- we respect our families and also follow our traditions, but the real issue is the mindset of new generation. A large number of part of today's youth is taking the wrong idea of modernity. They think being modern is just means copying whatever looks trendy in the West, the style, but the real modernity is about thinking better, being creative, and also being open minded, supporting equality, and also contributing something to society. Yeah, yes, the culture is still alive, but the way the generation defines modern has shifted. Yeah, I have done.
Thank you, Aman. Yajnishini.
Okay, is it 2 minutes or
2 minutes.
am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
It is again 2 minutes.
Yes, 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so I would like to add some
It's
points to
3 minutes,
what others
Yajnishini.
told. So in India, we have good respect. 1 minute, I'll change my timer. Okay, so in India, we have certain family values, certain societal values, and all. As one of the previous speaker told, we have a very good respect to our family, and we consider family as a vital thread which holds us in our entire life together. So, for example, one of the famous celebrities like Aishwarya Rai, she told that we don't have to get appointments from our parents to meet them, just like what is being followed in Western countries. We have the right to go and meet them whenever we want. So that itself is a very good example how we have good familial values in spite of living as nuclear families. So yes, after marriage, the couple they move to a different house, but still, for as I had said earlier, for certain occasions, everybody they gather together and celebrate their special occasions. And similarly, for the other point which somebody told about Western countries, yeah, so they have good technology, and we keep blaming, or we keep pointing out to Indian way of technologies and how we deal with climate, but we forget the fact about how well the technologically advanced countries are ready to help developing and underdeveloped countries. For example, even in United Nations and all, we have been frequently raising the issue that the pollution levels caused today are a direct impact of the pollution which was caused by pre-industrial levels by different countries during industrialization. So they are culturally and they are technologically advanced, but still they are not ready to help the countries which are striving hard to advance in this to get advanced in the same technology. So with this perspective being neglected completely, we cannot just blame the developing or underdeveloped countries for their technology and point out to the Western countries for pointing out how better and well advanced their technology is. And we, even in the Indian scenario, as I had said earlier, we are adopting a lot of Indian ways of living and mingling them with the Western ways. For example, in our dress code, for example, for female, we wear jeans, but on top of that we wear a kurta also. It is not like we completely neglect our Indian way of living and adopt completely the Western style. We mingle what we want and neglect what we don't want from their society. So I again reiterate the same word that modernity has been westernized, but it is not beyond repair.
Thank you, Yajnishini. Rohit,
Hello. I would like to rebuttal Nitish that he told about the pollution of Delhi. The major contributors are industries 56%, which includes the parali stubble burning. Next factor is vehicles 36%. After that, diesel 6% and domestic sources are 3%. Diwali is celebrated once or twice a day, 1 or 2 days in a year, but not throughout the year. Then the other factors need to be checked. How could you control those things? About the vehicles pollution, about the industries and other factors, which are throughout the years. And next, I would like to add something to Sarthak's point. He told about distorted history. James Mill, a Scottish historian and economist, wrote a book about British India, where he mentioned about caste system, sati, and child marriages, etc. But the irony is this man never visited India in his entire life. Thank you.
thank you, Rohit. Yes, Saval.
Yes. So, just the previous point which the participant said that James, that Sati, about Sati and child marriage. Maybe he didn't visited India, but weren't they the problems? They were the problems, and they had to be dealt with, and we dealt it with them very nicely. Right now, we don't have any more the issues of sati, the issues of child marriage, and all. The child marriage we still have, but sati we have dealt with. And before dealing with anything, acknowledgement is a thing. So acknowledging it is no bad. Yes, historians worldwide have had political ambitions uh, which they fulfilled from their writings in order to divide some colonies, show them fabricated histories and all. That is the thing. So that I wanted to say. And regarding, yeah, so it was the thing. So I just wanted to add one more point, and it was that yes, we are copying the we want the renaissance points of the west, like we want liberty, we want equality, we want liberalism in our society, we want more freedom, but we are not actually going through the process of renaissance. The process of renaissance was what it was, that in the whole process of renaissance, it was that the art became more realistic, people became more rational, people started seeing the problems for what they were. Are we doing that? No. we are seeing the West, we are directly copying those things, but we are not acknowledging what is really the problem in India. In many cases we are doing it, in many cases we are not. Where we are doing it, we have succeeded, and where we are not doing it, we have not succeeded. That I wanted to say, that Renaissance goes up with realism also, so that is also has to be considered.
Thank you, Sabal. Next, we have Nitish.
So Yajnish has raised a very good point that the country which are developed has refused to support and help the underdeveloped countries or developing countries, and it's not just justifiable, and it's good. So somewhere Rajnishni says the development is related to pollution levels. So I am asking you, Rajneesh, if you say if the population is a pollution rise is indicates that development in a country. So in India, the pollution level is very high. So can you see the development in India? Because as Rohit mentioned about the air pollution, how we control it, the air pollution. If there are the lots of vehicles every day. So we had also measured if the country is really developing their self in terms of the technology, in terms of their research development, then somewhere I accept it. Yeah, it's a good some emissions would be we can tolerate because we are developing somewhere, and in final we can tackle this also. But right now we are just getting more polluted and getting more polluted, but there is no development in India. So it is the point. And the second for Sarthak, he says that somewhere he relate the population density. I'm asking Sarthak, if the population density is the problem, then why the people who is not afford the children, then why they reproduce? And they should don't reproduce. Then why the people are very excited to reproduce more children? If my country, if my environment is more poisonous right now, then why I reproduce more children? Because somewhere there is a philosophical error in the our culture, and it is we resolve by our ancient cultures too. So I think that's my point.
Thank you, Nitish. Yes, Sarthak.
I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Uh, First of all, I would like to thank Rohit. He made some brilliant points out there, and he actually helped me what I wanted to say. I forgot that point that he said correctly. After that, Sabal said that there were problems of sati and child marriage which were removed by the British. So, firstly, and caste system. Firstly, I would like to ask if the race, or what we say, the people who followed the policy of divide and rule came in India and abolished the caste system. How ironical, isn't it? And secondly, if I move up to the sati practice and all, firstly, these traditions are not typically Indian. They were local practices if they existed. I agree that they existed, but they are not the part of a typical Indian culture or typical what we say was going on since thousands of years. It was something that was locally made up. It was not there very deeply rooted. Secondly, I would like to ask if the plunderers came for reforms. We say currently what he said was the plunderers who plundered lot of wealth from India, who took away the mines, who took away the money, came up and gave up reforms. This is what I wanted to mention, that the idea of modernity has been westernized. We are just directly glorifying that the one who came and looted up us with everything are today being glorified about the reforms and the good points that they made with us. Thirdly, Nitish said about the population control. Why are people reproducing? Yeah, you are right. That's the point. Why are people reproducing if they cannot manage families, or they have a problem in there? But there is nothing to blame. Like it's the West that has to teach about that. We are just unknown of our own history. It's nothing like we have to learn it from the West. One of the oldest mentions of population control had been in India, in the books, in the literatures, but we are not reading it. Why? Because they have also been removed and said is obsolete and useless. And that too by the same West system, which currently is being said that it is not as much threatening as it is being seen. So that's all from my side.
Thank you. Rohit,
Yeah, I would like to counter the sati point that he mentioned. That sati was an Indian practice. If we look up to history, the first that incident came to us is Lord yes, Goddess Sati, wife of Lord Shiva, jumped into fire for her husband's sake. And later on, that was not after his death. That was because he was insulted. And later on, when we see such incidents, they were during the invasion era. When in Rajasthan, Rani Karnavati, Rani Padmini, etc., had done Johar. They were not sati practices, they were Johar. They were done because if they were captivated, they were treated as sex slaves. To avoid those, they did Johar so no one could ever touch them. Uh, the fact is, the sex with the dead bodies are also mentioned during Mughal eras.
excuse me for a
After,
moment. I appreciate the deep dive, but I feel we are moving away from the central tension in the court. So let me put up a question.
yeah,
India's belief is prioritizing, uh, needs.
yeah, about that that we believe the sati is a Indian practice that itself come from a Britishers somewhere Britisher writings. We don't see in our history. If you think Ramayana and Mahabharata as a history, thousands of warriors died, but no one did sati. And if a sati practice is done, there is according to Vedas, there should be a temple of that lady who did the sati. And about the caste system, if you read Bhagavad Gita, you will get to know about a slok Chaturvarna Maya Sreshta Guna Karma Vivashe Bhagya se. That itself told that there are four ones according to the work and karma that are not birth based, which were completely different from Britishers. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. Uh, I just want to add a point. In India, our roots, our belief in a family, it was always prioritizing needs over wants. But today's time, if I see, we are moving towards luxury. What say? Yes, Ajnishini?
Can you repeat that?
Indian beliefs in a family, we always see that prioritizing needs over wants. We have always prioritized needs. Okay. But today, if we see in our society, we are moving towards westernization, which is luxury. Everywhere it is show off.
Okay, I don't completely agree with this perspective. I feel that still there are people who prioritize their needs, and it is not like a competition between needs and bonds. We have given equal importance to both needs and bonds. Yes, certain times we cannot get struck with our bonds, and we cannot be we cannot be without focusing on our needs, because we have a lot of duties to be discharged to our family, to our next generations, and we have to move on with the needs also. But that doesn't mean that we give lesser importance to our bonds. And even today, as you said, yes, I agree that there are some people who move towards luxury, but it has not become a norm of Indian society yet. And there are people who prioritize their needs. For example, I would like to quote the example of small savings. We have a lot of saving schemes, and we are investing in small savings so that our needs get satisfied, and we don't lavishly spend all our earnings in our luxurious interests. So I still feel that yes, we have prioritized needs more than bonds, and it doesn't mean that we have not given any importance to bonds. We have given equal importance to bonds as well, because we gather for many festivals, and we still have those familial values. But it has not reached to that extent in which we have become completely luxurious just like the West, and we have not given any importance to needs. We are still giving the same importance to both needs and bonds, and that is the conclusion which I would like to give for your perspective. And I also feel that we are somewhat digressing from the topic, so could you please tell what is the exact thing which we have to discuss?
The topic is in front of you. Has the idea of modernity been westernized by beyond repair?
Okay, so we can stick on to the same thing, right? So,
Mhm.
okay, I again, as I had told earlier, I still feel that the idea of modernity is not westernized beyond repair, and there are a lot of Indian values in our way of living, and this is one such example, as I had answered for this question, which was posted by Sunny. And I'll continue in my next chance, because I feel time is over for me.
Thank you, Ajinshini. Yes, Sabal.
So yes, first you asked the question about needs versus wants. I completely agree with the past speaker about we are more inclined towards our needs compared to our wants. But I want to add one more thing, is that yes, it is also true that this luxury thing is also like taking us this luxury thing, this overspending in luxury thing is called as consumerism, and it is more and more rampant in the urban areas and amongst the rich. If we see see, India is not at all a one thing. Okay, there are many people, and those people can be divided into by many categories, and one such category is income. Okay, if we see that 90% of India earns less than 25,000 of rupees. Okay, and if we go about if we talk about the five of the about the 5% also, they earn also like in 70,000, 60,000 in those manners. Okay, so Indians as a whole are more and more focused on wants, sorry, on needs rather than luxury. But there is a section of our society, the top 1%, the top 2%, they are more into this luxury thing. But when I'm saying this, I just remember the thing of a thing of which I saw in the Bihar elections, that that in many villages there is a thing called dancing, singing and all at stage programs. So they are also part of luxury, so they also indulge in that, but it's like limited entertainment. But yeah, overall. And I also want to counter the counters which were given to me, and it was that I want to say that British were plunderers. They didn't reform us, but they contributed in educating us in some in a better manner. Like they gave us some statistics. They were just like a nail. Like, how do I define it? Like, a teacher comes, no, a bully comes, you see him, and you start contemplating what is wrong with me. So they gave that thing. Okay. Oh, then there was a thing that there was a mention of population control in our earlier text. So that I want to counter with. Do you know what was the literacy rate during 1947? During 1947, it was 12%. Okay, so before that it was also, it was more or less. So why were people not reading their ancient books? Because they were not literate. Okay, Yes, and also many people were not allowed to read text due to many social constructs and all. Sati was a practice. Now I tell you the story why it happened. It happened mostly in the eastern part of the India, where the Dayabhag property dispute resolution was there. Like if you die, the your wife will also get the property. So in order to not distribute property to your wife, the relatives said that burn the wife so they can get property. So it was prevalent. So that it is a real issue and it is well documented. That I wanted to say. Yeah.
Thank you, Sabal. Sarthak,
Yeah, am I audible?
yes.
Firstly, I would like to talk about something. Sabal gave up a long explanation, so I would like to circle around it only. Firstly, I would like to talk about the education system. He pointed out about firstly he pointed about income disparity and the bond thing, which we say that needs above bonds. The education system currently going on in India is directly proportionating us to go for our needs rather than the bonds. The first thing. Secondly, saying that we people move for more for the bonds rather than the needs, and giving up some statistics of about 90% of the Indian population getting less than 25,000 rupees. Income disparity comes from hard work. There is nothing to be related in terms of bonds. And if they are more oriented in terms of bonds and not for needs, then why do they criticize or give a sarcastic remark to the government or everyone around them for the same issue? If they do not care of money and they care of the bonds more, why do they use that same stat and then say that we all are just poor, we are not getting money enough, we are not getting money enough? Then he said about the Sati Pratha. Sati Pratha is still a local tradition made up. It nowhere proves that it was something that came out from thousands of years or from our history. And British removed it or not, I would not like to comment on it, because one statement which he gave was that the literacy rate was 12% in 1947, and before that it was also low. But I would like to tell you about one thing. I'm basically not totally remembering the reference, but there was a letter written by an Englishman to another Englishman in the 1800s era, which actually mentioned about the Indian education system currently prevalent at that moment, where it was a diverse subject combining topics of spirituality, astronomy, mathematics, and science. And then you are here sitting commenting about that people were not literate and were not reading the books. Have you ever read in books? Have you ever read about those letters or those books or the or but limited to few? So I would like, when your chance will come, I would like to ask if you can quote from where are you asking that only a few people. Everyone knew about it, and not everyone. And you say about the caste system that caste system doesn't allow people to read the literatures. That is also the same kind of mindset that you have been suffering from because of the westernized culture. The West gave us that caste system is something which we did, but they forgot to hide one thing, that the entire Native American population was wiped out from the Englishmen just because of the fact that they were black. Secondly, the fact we as a country, our country name is India. Do you actually know, if you go to the references and books and you would read what India means? Indian is a specific term used for the people that are dark skin in color. You have been following the idea of modernity, which has been totally westernized since the very beginning of your independence. India, the term
Uh,
India itself means for the people who are dark skinned, and you are currently sitting here asking about the literacy rate and all of that, but limited to few about the caste system, about the Sati Pratha. First read it out yourself. And if you want Sati Pratha reference, I would like to give you the reference of Ramayana, where Ram's father's death, after
Sarthak,
his father's death, there was yes.
that is 3 minutes. Nitish,
Yeah, I go with need and luxury. So in my term, need at a time was at some time was a luxury. So if for if take an example at a ground level, sometime at some time a stove was a luxury for some people to cook the food, but right now it is necessary. That time people cook with a matti ka chula, but right now they need. So in my perspective, and the second question you have asked that Western countries are more live their life with a very luxurious. So it's very reference dependent how luxuries looks like. I'm not justified their billionaires ambitions of jets, their carbon emissions, but why the question has come here is. Because the reference dependent is how the economic strength of the country is dependent on how see a thing is a luxury or a need. One thing maybe is a need for someone and is for luxury for someone. Like I have a good economic strength. So he says that education is a very need. I'm talking on the ground level reality, not just the theoretical point of view. That says education is a very necessary thing, but ask the person who is fighting for their food and say that is a necessary, who says no, it's not a need for me right now. So it's very reference dependent. Just I'm taking the perspective of the need and luxury. So we can't just call out that he's just living a luxurious life, because we are not have that strong economic strength. That's why we are saying is a luxury life, but that person, it's a need for them. And the statement is not justification for their billionaires who emit the lots of carbon emission. No, the statement is just giving your perspective for that how we look luxurious thing and needy things. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Nitish. Yajnishri.
Yeah. But I see some new speakers raising their hands.
Chitranjan, you want to go?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, you're audible.
So basically, I want to talk about which course we are done. Like we doing data, and India don't have the data. Like here is a government website named as data.gov.in, and it's never updated till 2018. There is specified by criminal data or any type of population data. It's never updated, and that's why the whole corruption is going on, because it's base of our scores. That why we are talking about that thing. We don't do about that. Like we don't do about any type of corruption and culture and education system, but we are data analyzers. We want to do something. We want to support, I think, about the data thing. Like many of the, actually I'm little nervous. Okay, then it's the base of like any type of religion, any type of political mistakes, corruption. There have some government website, but they are not updated. But election commission is updated in twice a decade. It's a very bad thing that our nation don't provide us data, but they think to why we vote for them. It's a very big thing, which I think, because we are the data analyzers, and only we can report about that to the peoples, right? We can analyze the data if we have powers to analyze the data. Nobody can do that without mathematical thinking. What you think about that?
Hello, everyone. Chitranjan. I think we should stick to the topic. Has the idea of modernity been westernized beyond repairs? I think we are getting out of our topic line.
That's why I want to talk about the Japanese eruption. Like politicals have some rules they want to with follows, and it's also the Western culture also. It's not about something political and religious concepts. It's about the Western or Eastern cultures, Eastern governments doing for their citizens, and many more of the things. It's not about anything I am talking about, but I am not prepared to convey that thing
Okay,
what
so
in my
you are
mind.
saying that the way our Indian website works in terms of data, they are a bit westernized. that they don't update us with the data, and the election data is updated and spreaded like we can say a false data is spreaded across all the websites. This is what you're seeing. This is how Western culture is affecting our Indian culture.
Yeah, because of our history is not going to be uh, shared with us. Like someone is saying that we are colonized and they ru- ruin our cultural history, and they took their history also ruined that. In the culture they also put many things. They have the revolution after the decades of 80s. It's that before that they also have racism, and today is also there, but there is racism of sexism. Do you think about that? And they put it on our minds and it's going on there. Like nobody, like some days before we are talking about feminism, and its word is come from the western culture. But if we can say there is a western theory about the religious era, they were any type of intelligent women called as witch by the church priests and fathers, and they burned like the word as witch hunting. And we don't have the data about it. We are just saying that they are the best of doing, they are not sexist, they are very good mindsets, education, and I don't think so. They are reviews, what we call that in English, I don't know, but they are have many of the things in their history. They took many democracies, many wars, many kingdomship, many rules were changing in the century. Many more of the things I want to say about, but I am not prepared for now. So I'm just off my mic. Thank you.
Very well, Chitranjan. But here, right now, we are discussing over modernity and it's how it's been westernized, not about feminism and the polity, and we can say like colonialization. So it will be great if all of us will be stick to the topic of modernity and how it's been westernized. Thank you. We can go ahead. Who's next? Sabal is a new speaker or Sarthak?
Everyone, no one is a new speaker over studio and
Also,
Okay,
guys,
Sarthak.
it's been more than an hour. Yeah, we can conclude the GD after considering. We have three participants who have raised their hands, and we can consider two more participants if anyone is interested. You can just raise your hands now only. We'll conclude with the five people. Okay. Next, who is Sarthak? You can go ahead, please.
There was a point being discussed in by previous participants about the need and luxury topic. Firstly, I would like to speak up about that. If deep down going to the Indian history, we have been the people who have been keeping others far more above than ourselves. If we talk about the basic human instincts, we say human first go for its own need. If he is getting basic amenities or not, after that he out of moral or out of something anything if he wants to, he first sees himself. After which he feeds others. But and after there is a level where someone just completely forgets himself or herself and goes for others. What westernization or modernization has given us is just being is just individuality and being strict to just ourselves. India keeps Indian people keeps themselves less and the bonds more. That thought process was a long time ago. That thought process has been completely eradicated just because of the system and the conditions prevailing. And on the topic that modernity has been westernized beyond repair, yeah, that's definitely correct because firstly, modernity by definition has only become a topic that modernity just means being like West, like having clean air or civic sense like America, or having clean streets like London, or having a better standard, having one second, or having like luxuries and all like Dubai or so. So completely point, we have been modernity is not at all remained about what is going wrong and to correct it. Modernity has just become a topic of which countries ahead of us and we should be like that country, after that a new country, and just being jumping off and comparing others and comparing ourselves to other countries and keeping up with it. Sorry. So that's all from my that's all from my side for now.
Yes, Sabal, you can continue.
So the topic is, has the idea of modernity been westernized beyond repair? So like simply I want to think about what is the definition of modernity. Definition of modernity is like modern in what sense? Being better than our present. That is what modernity actually means. Okay, so basically solving our problems, adopting a new culture, adopting a new not a new culture, not exactly that, adopting new facets into our own culture. That is something which we call modernity. There are many aspects of the West which we learn from. Okay, science is one of them, mathematics is one of them, philosophy is one of them. We have learned immensely from them. We also have our own pinnacles. We have Vedant, we have Upanishads. They are our philosophical core, and many a times they are way beyond. They talk about way beyond things compared to the philosophy of the West, and they are actually they can be told to be at the higher place. Our own culture, we are actually if we compare, like in my estimation, if we compare us to the West, we are we are more we are less cruel in the sense that we had an immense influence of Buddhism on our culture. We were less into wars, and we were more pacifists in that manner. So it is actually a modern thing, because waging wars is a thing of the animals, while being pacifist is a thing of modernity. It is in it is in our culture. So it is one of the Indian facet, which is actually modern in the nature. Just like India, no one in the Middle Ages were educated to that extent. They were doing witch hunts. They were doing all sorts of superstition which we can imagine of, which are prevalent in our present country. But they also modernized from that pace, and we have to also modernize from that pace. We have, compared to West, we are more riddled in superstitions and all. We have to get rid from them. We have to move beyond them. For that, if we are getting inspiration from West, we have to take it. Are we westernized? Again, I slipped away from the topic. Are we westernized beyond repair? At some points, yes, because literally modernization is literally being seen as adopting Western customs without actually putting your mind into it, that how they actually got it. They got it through realism, they got it through self-observation, they got it through self-reformation. They were not seeing other country and like reforming themselves. They were seeing their problems and reforming themselves. So that is a thing. So yes, yeah.
Okay, so since this is the last chance given for all the speakers, I feel that in our culture, modernity has been westernized, but it is not beyond repair. Because I would like to give some examples. Salman Rushdie has given, for those who don't know, Salman Rushdie is a very famous writer, and he has said that the English people, that is the British, they don't know their own history because it has happened overseas. And all the history which belongs to the British people, which concerns them, it was not just confined to England alone. So they don't know their own history. This is the Western perspective. But in India, if you see, it is very contradictory. We know our history, we are cherishing that, and that itself is a very good evidence that we have been modernized, and we have been westernized. But it is not that we have got detached from our culture and traditional values completely. Knowing our history and going back to our historical values is one such examples which I would like to quote here. And India has been globalized, and we just don't stick on to our own region, and we travel a lot. We have our Indian people going and settling in the States and even in Europe. But still, you can see a lot of differences between how they, that is the Western people, perceive things and how we perceive things. For example, when it comes to savings, as I had quoted earlier, what they do is, even if they want to build a very small room which would be attached to their main part of the house, they'll raise loan, and only when the loan is sanctioned they'll be able to build that part of their construction. But Indians, if we want to build a huge house also, we start saving right from our first salary or from our marriage. So that is how their perspective is different from our perspective, and this is just one such examples. And this itself shows that we are westernized, but it is not beyond repair. And similarly, adopting very important aspects from the West is not new to India, and we have not practicing this just after colonization. This has been practiced even before. For example, we see that Chandragupta Maurya was very young when Alexander invaded India. Alexander belongs to Europe, obviously. And so Alexander had followed certain military strategies and certain espionage strategies and all. And we see that Chandragupta Maurya adopted some strategies both from Dhanananda and from Alexander. So this is again an example of how we adopt things, and adopting is not just new to India right after colonization. So I would like to quote these three examples to justify my point that modernity has been westernized, but it is not beyond repair in India, and we still follow the traditional values along with those modernized things which we adapted from the West.
So in my final speaker, I want to say is modernity is not restricted in any domain like a westernized or easternized. It just tells you don't worse than any animals living. You are a being and you have a sense. You should have a sense of responsibility for your nature. So if you have to change in your something in your lifestyle, and you should learn from outside. If you are not improving by your own self, then see the others, and others also see yourself. So modernity just tells you, of course, nothing is a beyond repair. It's just like today's trending natures of the Western cultures, their social media's culture. So that's why we say is the it's getting westernized. But if something is again started trending, then we will shift there. So we have to first of all think what is the actual modernity. It just tells you don't worse than living standard, don't make the worst living standard than any animals. If you see somewhere, then raise your voice. It will be your sati pratha, it will be your witch hunting, it will be your casteism, it will be your racism. Just raise your voice and live with a very um meaningful standard living standard, maintain a very living meaningful living standards, and learn from everywhere. The Gautam Buddha is not stuck on just Indian philosophy, and he want to share something what he got by their practicing, and he want to share something there. Then he travel a lot, and many I think many Western philosophers, if I take example Max Muller, I think he was from German. He was very interested in Upanishads, so he translated the crunch of the Upanishad in their languages. And I have out of the idea, but history is not. History has a lots of examples. The shading of the wiseful things to each other. So that's all. Nothing is a beyond repair. It's just think wisely. What is the modernity and live, maintain a very meaningful standards for your environment and for your own self. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Nitishi, are you there?
I have completed my turn.
Yep.
Okay, I think we are running out of time. It's already 8:45, right?
Yeah, let's better wrap up.
Yeah. Thank you. Should I wrap up or you are doing?
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. It was a wonderful discussion, and we hope you'll join us for more such wonderful discussions in future. And whoever is left with so much more points that you like, I saw that some people has their hands raised. So you can continue with this discussion in either in Synapse Society group or in our house chat. So see you there with wonderful points and a great discussion. Bye bye. Good night.